Good morning. I am Chief Simpson with the Afloat Training Group, working alongside the Naval Safety Center. I am here to talk to you today about flight deck safety. It is our hopes that after watching this video, you will have a basic understanding of how the flight deck works. Enjoy the video and stay safe.
Flight deck of an amphibious assault ship is no less dangerous than that of our largest aircraft carrier. It is one of the most dangerous places in the world and commands respect from all who steps aboard. We have learned many lessons over the years, and too many times it has been the hard way. We have made many improvements in flight deck equipment, firefighting gear, and personal protective equipment. These items have helped to make this workplace cleaner, better, and safer. Despite these improvements, the smallest distraction can still put our sailors and Marines at risk. Several hundred sailors and Marines work on the flight deck at any given time, day or night. Always ensure common sense and operational risk management is a part of your everyday routine. Stay alert and keep your head on a swivel. The flight deck of an LHA and LHD are broken down into two distinct areas, known as flies. Fly 1 and Fly 2. Within Fly 1 contains the forward bone, bell spot, and garage. Fly 2 consists of the aft bone, the Harrier spots, port and starboard elevators. The foul line runs from bow to stern and is red and white. During launch and recovery operations, stand clear of the foul line. The trim line, which is used for aviate, is yellow with white zipper lines. The main differences between an LHA and LHD are: LHD has 9 spots, port and starboard elevator. LHA has 10 spots, port and stern elevator. The people of the deck. The air officer, also known as the air boss, is overall responsible for the safe and efficient day-to-day operations of the flight deck, hangar, and aviation fuel system. The assistant air officer, also known as the mini boss, is responsible for ensuring that the plans, orders, and instructions are carried out. The aircraft handling officer, commonly referred to as the handler, is responsible to the air boss for planning and controlling all aircraft movement on the flight deck and hangar, including elevator runs. He also coordinates flight and hangar deck spotting of aircraft for maintenance. The flight deck supervisor reports directly to the air boss for the performance of all aircraft launch duties. They must be qualified as a flight deck fly petty officer, leading petty officer, or leading chief petty officer. The landing signal enlisted, or LSC, works under the supervision of the air boss and is responsible for visually signaling of helicopters, assisting the pilot in making a safe takeoff approach and landing. They are also responsible for directing the pilot to the correct spot and ensuring general safety conditions of the flight deck. The aviate launch officer must be designated in writing and trained by squadron personnel in the safe and efficient launching of aircraft, aviates, on the flight deck. The flight deck officer is responsible to the air boss for safely moving and securing of aircraft on the flight deck. He also oversees the training and maintenance on all aircraft handling and firefighting equipment. The crash and salvage officer, commonly known as the air bosun, is responsible to the air boss and the flight deck officer for the training of crash and salvage crew in aircraft firefighting, personal rescue, and all associated equipment. The fuels officer, commonly referred to as the fuel bosun, is responsible for the overall safe and efficient operation of the JP-5 system. The combat cargo officer, normally an embarked Marine, is responsible for the safe and orderly flow of troops, passenger, mail, and cargo on and off the flight deck. The flight deck chief is the principal assistant to the flight deck officer and provides supervision and technical expertise to support flight deck operations. Yellow shirts are worn by LSCs and directors. Red shirts are worn by crash and salvage personnel, ordnance handlers, EOD, and aviation ordnance officer. White shirts worn by medical, safety, and combat cargo. Blue shirts are worn by aircraft handling crew, chalk and chain personnel, elevator operators, and tractor driver. Purple shirts, grapes, worn by aviation fuel personnel. Green shirts, worn by ground support equipment personnel, squadron maintenance, and photographer. Brown shirts worn by plane captains. Flight deck fire and firefighting symbols. Fire, fire, fire. Fire on the flight deck. Those sobering words in your immediate response can make a difference between minor and serious damage or between injury and death. Keep this fact in mind because you may be the first person on the scene. Will you be prepared? Firefighting agents and symbols are painted at various locations on the wheel stop combing on the edge of the flight deck. You'll see other firefighting apparatus symbols on the island structure. Study these symbols when you walk the flight deck. Get familiar with the location, operating procedures, and intended purposes of all flight deck firefighting equipment. AFFF station marking. An 18-inch wide green stripe is painted up and over the deck edge wheel stop combing. A white 3-inch high AFFF is painted in the center of the stripe. At locations where combing is not installed, the storage location is marked by a green 18-inch square painted on the flight deck with white AFFF letters painted in the center of the square. AFFF is the primary extinguishing agent for aircraft fires on all Navy air-capable ships. Operating a typical flight deck AFFF station is simple. First, locate the activation button and the telephone. They are painted green. Second, make sure the flight deck crew has pulled out all the firefighting hose from the storage box. Third, push the button. This will activate the system and charge the hose. Note, hard non-collapsible hoses may be charged while on the hose reel. Fourth, get on the telephone. This is how you will communicate with the pumping station and supply the agents to the AFFF station, and how you talk with Damage Control Central. Talk to the people at the pumping station if you have any problems or when it is time to secure the AFFF station. Note, you do not have to use the telephone before turning the hose on. CO2 bottle storage marking. A red 12-inch wide stripe is painted up and over the deck edge wheel stop combing, and a white 3-inch high CO2 designation is painted in the center of the stripe. Where combing is not installed, the deck edge is marked with a white 18-inch diameter circle with a red 5-inch CO2 designation in the center. PKP, or purple K powder. A red 12-inch wide stripe is painted up and over deck edge wheel stop combing, and a white 3-inch high PKP painted in the center of the stripe. Where combing is not installed, a white 18-inch diameter circle is painted on the flight deck and marked with the storage location. A red 5-inch high PKP designation is centered in the circle. Saltwater station marking. A red 18-inch wide stripe is painted up and over deck edge wheel stop combing, and a yellow 3-inch high W painted in the center. Where combing is not installed, the station is marked by a red triangle, 18 inches per side, painted on the flight deck. Halon marking. The halon agent is only found on the P-25 mobile firefighting and rescue vehicles. Some do's and don'ts for the flight deck. Know your absolute limit. Fatigue and stress can be deadly. Wear a complete and proper flight deck uniform when working on the flight deck. Be FOD free. Remove all jewelry, pens, notepads, etc. before entering the flight deck. There are many different types of air-capable ships. Here are a few examples of their flight deck configurations. Attitude awareness is a safety critical factor. Always keep safety and awareness in mind when working on the flight deck. When the job is done, go below. Stay alert and always follow the proper flight deck procedures. Do what you are trained to do, and you will remain safe on the flight deck.